So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers every day, every week when I do this. Everybody's hopefully taking a breath and getting through the last days of the school year. I know everybody's getting pretty anxious. So we just have a little bit to talk about today. And then we'll take questions, of course, do the usual announcements, COVID data update. I was going to do some back to school immunization clinic information. We're going to save that for next week. And resources, and then a question and answer. So announcements first. Please, if you have not done the survey, we'll send out one more reminder to please give us some feedback. We're still talking about what to do with these Thursday updates. When school is out, we'll probably do some form during the summer for summer school and for the schools that are open. So we'll hopefully have more information by next week about that. And then we just got the word that the sanitary measure the guideline has been rescinded. So no more reporting or reporting outbreaks. I put this up as a slide to remind everyone what it did say. It says all schools will continue to report outbreaks, and we recommend that you report all cases. So we're not doing that anymore. There's not a mandate or any kind of a guideline right now. So you'll be getting more information about that too in the follow-up email. As far as the data update goes, we are still in a low level. There is a little higher test positivity rate. I think that you in the schools, what we're hearing is that there are more cases. So we still need to be vigilant. Little bit higher in the vaccinated rate, like 0.2, something like that. And same for vaccinated 12 and up with the booster. So that hasn't changed too much. Community level, as I said, is still low. Case rate per 100,000, 4.1 or 74.1. So that is not a huge change either. It is up, it is a little higher. Percentage positivity is up 1.88% since last week. That's as of the 15th. And here's our resource page. Still, I took off the mandate, the sanitary measure 1. So if you have any questions or need to get in touch with us, the school support team information is at the bottom. So I think we can go on to question and answers. Anybody either put it in the chat or speak up, please. It says, do you expect CDC to change our community level from low to medium based on the increased amount of cases? I really think that's to be determined. I don't know that we are seeing that high of that big of a spike yet. From what it sounds like, others on the call might have more input about that.
Hi, Leslie. Thanks for the question. So it is possible that it will change later today. They update it generally on Thursdays, so it's possible in the next few weeks at least. Also, I just want to point out that on the CDC webpage where actually, if you want to stop sharing for a second, Connie, I can share the CDC webpage where they have the community levels. Let me pull it up really quick, but where they have the community level page, there's also another drop down for instead of community levels to see transmission. And we are currently at high transmission. And so that is another thing to keep an eye on. There's just different metrics that each of these things are being measured by. So, sorry, let me pull this up really quick.
Yeah, Kat, that's one of the reasons I asked is because I'm just watching our daily levels. You know, we have obviously a lot of kids, but we went from a
Yeah.
couple cases a day to now we're, 15, 20, 30 cases a day. So that's where I'm praying we get through next week.
Yes, us too,
But
us too.
but then we have summer school, so just I wanted to get some input if you guys had any. So, but we'll see what happens today then. Thank you.
Yeah, so the map may change in the next week or two to go up to medium level. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on it for now. But I do recommend looking at both the transmission level as well as the community level. So, sorry, you can go ahead, Connie.
And Kat and Connie, this is Kathy Steinley. If I could hop in for a second. I don't know. I just looked at the Johns Hopkins Center that sends out the security alerts on COVID, like weekly, just put out that they're seeing, I think, a 45% increase in cases over the past 2 weeks. But they're also saying, which is what we've been talking about here, that they're concerned that we're probably underestimating our numbers by about 5 to 10% because of things not being reported and home tests being used. And I'm just wondering, in light of the fact that we think these numbers are probably underreported and the fact that we know that the hospital admissions are a lagging indicator, what is our level of concern?
Yeah, so we are definitely keeping an eye on things. We, along with you guys, are just hoping to get through school, but we know summer school and summer camps are all starting. We are trying to get some information out to folks about summer camps as well. But this is a really important time to ensure that your district or your school has policies in place. Again, because we aren't mandating contact tracing and quarantine and reporting, we can't mandate any of that anymore. But then it's up to you guys to have those policies in place to ensure that kids are going home if they're sick, that you have test kits available, permission from parents to test students. So we have test kits we can still give you guys, but we're definitely, this isn't, it's not over. And historically, the past couple of years, June has not been a great month for us. We tend to see things sort of rise a little bit in June. So cases are definitely increasing. As you mentioned, Kathy, the data that we have is getting murkier and murkier as there's not the same requirements for reporting and things like that as there used to be. So the data that we share with you guys is the data that we have, but we do have concerns that that numbers are going up, but that the numbers we have are not as accurate as they once were. So we're also tracking wastewater. We're working on getting a dashboard up to show some of that data as well. And so we're looking at all the data that we have access to, but it's just not the same as it used to be, unfortunately. And so we're never probably going to have super accurate idea of what's going on. But it's something we are definitely keeping a very close eye on. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but yeah.
Thank you for checking on the wastewater, because I know we've talked about it and it's not easy to find, but I'm wondering if that at least will give a little clearer picture. So
yeah, and it's just one of those sentinel awareness pieces as well that can kind of be a sign something's going on. Another thing that you guys might want to consider if you're creating your own policies is masking, all the same mitigation things that we've been doing, masking, social distancing. At what point do you want masks in classrooms? Maybe just one classroom, maybe a whole school. Like, what are your sort of trigger points that would create more mitigation? Maybe you don't want to do any mitigation going forward, and that's your choice as well. But these are just things to be thinking about, especially with summer school coming up and things like that. We'll be working on a lot of new things for next school year, but a lot of the policy level changes are going to have to come from like your governing board or your administration. It's not going to be able to come from us as much, although we can still provide guidance. So thank you all. I'll hand it back to Connie now.
Thank you, Kat. Boy, it's so good that you're on this call. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Connie, this is Kathy being a pain again. I was going to say, you might want to just share if everybody saw that ACIP and the FDA did approve the Pfizer for booster for kids. I think it's 11 to 14, but for the younger, or no, I take it back, 5 to 11.
5 to 11. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that's a really good point. Now, are you going to be sharing that with your school, with your schools?
I know we'll share that in TUSD, but I think that's something everybody needs to be aware of. And I'm just assuming also the health department is helping get that information out to the community that those kids can be boosted and that it is recommended that they should probably boost them. But it's not it's certainly not a requirement, but the people there's so much news about it. I wonder whether people are getting confused as to what is approved, what isn't approved, and what should be boosted and when.
Right. I think you're right. Hopefully that will be more information coming out about that. A bit more attention paid to it. Thank you, Kathy. Anything else anybody has on their mind?
I do. This is Nikki Stefan, Connie.
Hi, Nikki.
Just anything in writing that we can get from you all is very helpful, whether it's mandated or not, or whether our state is approving it or not. If there's information like Kathy was just stating about that those students can get boosted, that's really helpful for us. Even, just the information so we have a standard message to send out to others, because we know that to do contact tracing, which our district still is doing, if a child is vaccinated, they can stay in school. So they wouldn't need that booster. However, we would want them to have it. So any kind of message you all can put out for us to send to our folks and our families, that would be highly recommended. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'll talk with immunizations about that.
So the second what Nikki said, and also, and I don't know if your people can maybe help clarify this. The question that I keep getting for adults as well as families is how long after your dose should you be boosted? Should they be waiting to closer to when school starts? At what point should you pull the trigger on getting the booster? And there are no good answers. So if any guidance on that, because that's probably one of the more common questions I'm hearing from people. And I'll be honest, there's no really good guidance out there that I've been able to find.
Yeah, generally after a new vaccine or booster is approved, then they'll come out with kind of a policy. And once they come out with a policy at a federal level, then that will come down to us and our teams will push that out. But we will have the pediatric boosters. Now that it's approved, probably within a couple of days, those pediatric boosters will be available at our PCHD clinics. So if students are already going there for their normal back to school vaccines that need to take place, then the COVID boosters will also be available. But we'll look at what we can get together from our comms team to push out to all of you with information on the new booster. We're also keeping an eye on the under 5-year-olds as well.
That's what I was going to ask. Have we heard anything else? Because I keep hearing rumors that it's going to get even pushed out further, and I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah, I heard recently maybe June. It was originally like March or April. So we don't know when that will happen.